Right, hey, and thank you for clicking play, and I hope you can actually hear us over the top of all the traffic, because myself and my schoolmate Lee, we are basically walking around a hometown of Tunbridge Wells to reminisce about the computer shops that we used to go to. So we used to basically come up from our school just behind where you guys are viewing from, across the traffic lights, I'll give you some overlay, and then into this shop here, which has been Sevenoaks Sound and Vision for a long time now. But this used to be, well, originally it was a computer shop called Modata, and then I'm pretty sure they then rebranded to Megabytes. That's how I remember it anyway.
They moved on to somewhere we're going to show later.
Yeah, that's right. So they moved premises. So Lee, what were your memories of this particular location of Megabytes?
I just remember it laid out very much like a workplace. So everything was on display. Had business machines. Then they had the home computing, and it was very much at the forefront because they dealt in computers from the start. So it was a very good social hub for us. When we left school, we just wander around town and then come here and ask to see the latest games that are on offer. So it's basically where it all really started, the home computing thing for me, and probably for you.
Yeah, 100%. Do you remember any specific games you bought from here?
Oh, that's asking a question. Not off the top of my head, I can't really.
Or any that you remember seeing that you thought, oh, I want that at some point in my life?
It's probably the early days of the Amiga and stuff like that, wouldn't it? So it's probably, you know, looking at like maybe Shadow the Beast, things like that, which, you know, the game has stuck with me till today. I still play it, still listen to the music. It was probably that made me think, okay, I need this.
Yeah. Same for me. I remember seeing an Amiga in the window actually of Megabytes here, playing the Juggler demo. With the ray traced, pre-rendered ray traced reflections and shadows, and it just blew us away. Games I remember specifically playing here, not buying, but certainly playing here, were things like Carrier Command on the demo Amiga, and also Test Drive 2, played that here as well. But yeah, they used to have, so as Lee said, it was just rows of basically stands, and down, as I remember it, down this side was like your cassettes, your Amstrad CPCs, your
the old gen, and then there was the new gen.
That's right, and
it
went over into the Amiga.
All the business machines.
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
that's right, and that's the first place I saw an Amstrad CPC 464. In fact, was here. Funnily enough, I don't actually remember buying that much from this location.
I don't think we could afford it then because we were school kids. So.
That's right. We didn't have the money, right?
Didn't have the budget.
And so what I do remember is though talking to them and the guys, because I had some young guys working here as well, about the fact that I was probably actually not going to buy an Amiga from them. I was going to go up to London and get it from the Computer Shopper Show, which is exactly what I did. And they were like, no, do that, you'll get a much better deal, was exactly the words they said. So yeah, it was good. All right, let's move on to the next shop.
Okay, let's go.
Cool. Okay, so the next shop we're looking at is actually now abandoned, and I don't think I've actually seen this populated since it closed down from being Wizbit Games. Do you remember Wizbit Games, Lee?
Yep, it's probably the one I remember the most.
Right.
That's where I spent a lot of my time when I had money.
Nice. Go for it. Memories of Wizbit Games.
Just basically the most incredibly helpful store I've been in to buy games. Had all the information, all the release dates, sometimes sneaky previews of things, always willing to just go above and beyond. It went through a few iterations, but with the same people. I think they tried to rebrand to make it more popular, but it was probably one of the saddest days of my nerdy life when they eventually shut their doors. So, you know, if they're by any chance watching this video, thank you very much.
I do remember we were in two minds about whether to put this in, but I remember you telling me something about PlayStation games. I think they're not around now, so they can't get penalised.
Basically,
it may or may not have been Wizbit. Let's throw this in. It may or may not have been Wizbit Games that did what Lee's about to tell you.
One of the places I frequented were very nice. I got to know them quite well, and I would go in and ask when the latest game was coming out that I wanted. They would tell me it was coming out Monday, but this was Thursday, and then they would disappear upstairs. And lo and behold, I had the game 4 or 5 days before release. Only happened 4 or 5 times, but you know, I appreciated it, and wasn't allowed to tell anyone until 35 years later. So,
Fantastic. May or may not have been Wizbit Games.
Yeah.
For me, weird things I remember from Wizbit Games, both Amiga related actually. So one is, this is where I remember picking up my, actually three. Zip stick. This is where I bought my zip stick, the only joystick I didn't manage to destroy. So I have very good memories of the zip stick. Another joystick, the Volt Mace Delta. It's a really crappy analog stick, but I was into my flight sims, and a few of the later ones used analog joysticks for better flight control. So I needed one. It was the only one I could afford. It was a piece of crap, but it did the job, and I got that from here. And probably one of the worst flight sims I ever bought I also got from here, and that was, it was the Harrier Jump Jet game. I can't remember, but it came in a small flat cardboard box, not the big box style. The name of it's gone from me, but it was a Harrier Jump Jet game, and I was really excited about the concept of being able to take off vertically, hover and all of that. It was a bit of an abysmal game, but hey, whatever. At the time, no other game had the jump jet until Birds of Prey came out. So that's my main memories of Wizbit. And again, after Megabytes, we've literally walked, what, 200 yards, not even that? Yeah, and that's where, so again, on my way home, Lee had to walk the opposite way from Megabytes.
It's a long route.
Or he took the very long route that didn't really take him home at all. But for me, this was literally on my way home, so it was one of many stops on my walk from school to home every freaking day.
Many moons ago.
Yeah. Right, let's go to the next shop.
On to the next one.
So just on our way down to the next computer shop, I'll throw in this place, which is now currently the youth centre. But we think this was the model shop. It's either here or it's one of the shops up further, but Lee also thinks it's probably, yeah, we think it's this one. This was a model shop called BT's, I think, and they did...
It was on its way out when we were young, so
yeah.
It's been a long time since it's been gone.
I think it might be something like that. Anyway, it was a family-run store, and they... very good for Hornby train stuff, and also Warhammer they used to do in the model shop here as well. So yeah, there we go, we'll just throw that in on the way past. Another one of my many shops on the walk home, just down the road from Wizbit.
Yeah, literally 5 seconds away.
In fact, we can see Wizbit from here. It's up there where those chicks are walking down. Right, let's go. So we're just going to have our nails done, my nails, but actually this used to be a shop called Volunteers, which sounds like a charity, but it wasn't. And so this was a computer and I think video store as well, like I think so. VHS.
I think this one predates the other two, because I remember coming in here for Commodore 64 games and things like that, so they had that set up, which was my second gaming computer. Well, third if you count my dad's Atari, but that wasn't mine, so I don't really count it. But that was my introduction to gaming. Then I had the Commodore Plus 4, then the 64, and this is the shop that we always used to come to. And I remember them all hanging on the walls in their little cases with the plastic hooks, and you could just flick through, because they weren't all in order.
Oh, okay,
it wasn't just like 5 games of Commando or whatever, it's like Commando, Bombjack.
Yeah,
and you had to flick through, try and find the one that you wanted. But
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, I remember this one quite well.
So for me, I remember this is one of the few shops that actually had a decent stock of Aston Martin just going past there. So this actually was one of the few shops that had a decent stock of Acorn Electron games when I had the Acorn. And also I remember perving Elite on the BBC Micro, wishing it would work on my Electron because they both ran the same version of BASIC, but obviously that's not the case. It wouldn't work on the Electron. And things I remember buying from here, so I certainly remember buying Armageddon for the Amiga. There's another story behind that I'll save for another time. And also buying packs of discs. They usually had good prices on blank discs.
I think I bought Captive here.
Oh, did you buy Captive?
That's where I bought Captive?
One of our favourite games, both of ours.
Probably my favourite Amiga game of all time.
Right. That's such a good game. And I believe it was here that told me that you could use 1.44 meg discs on the Amiga, and they would work, because for some reason they were coming out cheaper than the 880k, you know, proper double density disc for the Amiga. So, bit of a nerdy fact there, but I do remember buying packs of discs of both those formats from here as well. So, yeah, good stuff. Let's. We're going to actually get some lunch. We won't show you that, and then a bit of more of a walk around town, and then we're nearly done. So we're just walking through the centre of Tunbridge Wells at the moment, and so Boots back there used to pop in there on the way home from school again, just to play the computer games and other things. Woolworths, that used to be Woolworths back there. I worked there as well, but also Pick a Mix. Oh yeah, can't forget Pick a Mix, and of course on the entertainment counter was where I worked. Spectrum games, Amiga games for a while, that kind of stuff, and then they got into the PlayStation games, and then of course sadly we all know the demise of Woolworths. What else? Okay, probably the last one of relevance out here is what is now Waterstones, used to be W.H. Smith's, and so that's where I will go to pick up Amiga format, Sinclair user before that, my Transformer comics, and also Battle Action Force. So there you go. Just as we're walking, we're on Monson Road now, heading towards the bottom end of town, but this is still up at the top, and this shop behind me is now a craft shop. There's actually a sign in the window saying this shop is 89 years old. In the 80s this was White's Bazaar, so it was a toy shop, and downstairs you went down you went in this door here, down a spiral staircase, and then it opened up to both this shop's width downstairs, and I remember playing on the Tomitronic 3Ds down in the basement down there. So there we go, another gaming related memory, but mostly toys, especially Action Force. Remember buying Action Force from here. Okay, so we're standing in front of the London Nail Company, so it's clearly time to get our toenails done. This is where Megabytes eventually moved to, didn't they? Because they downsized.
Yeah, downsized and came down here once it got a bit. They come out of the business machine market and concentrated more on the gaming market. So they moved down here for smaller space.
That's what I remember. And so here I remember nearly buying Armageddon from here. So there's a bit of a hint as to what actually happened. So there's the rest of that story. And also I remember buying Indianapolis 500 from here, Echelon, the Amiga version, from here, as well as many other games. Oh, my Sega Game Gear, that came from here. Yep. So what about yourself, Lee?
Shadow of the Beast 2, that's what I remember from here. They used to have it just as you walked in the door. They had 3 or 4 Amigas, I think it was, set up.
Yep.
And we purposefully came down here, asked them to load up the game, and just let ourselves die just to listen to the end music.
Well, he did.
Yeah, I did. 'Cause, the game was difficult. I just like the music. So
It's true.
Yeah.
I also remember them. They would kill if you had a disc with a virus on it. They'd try and fix it for you. They would do PD game distribution here.
I've got a lot of public domain demos here. Bud Brain.
Yep.
Spaceballs,
Yep.
9 Fingers, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Nice. And probably one of the other core memories is right down the end, obviously officially away from the Amigas, because it wasn't officially an Amiga, or that's how Commodore told the story anyway, but the CDTV, that's the only place I saw one in the wild, was in here. Forgot to mention actually Wizbit Games, that's the only place I saw an Amiga 2000, was in Wizbit, yeah. So yeah, really nice shop. I wish I could track down the owners, because this was when it was up in St John's, and then when they moved down here, it was the centre of my gaming life. This is where I came to just chat to people, buy some games, or if I couldn't afford to buy some games, just cheekily play them and decide what I was going to save up my paper round money for. So many fond memories. If anybody knows the family or whatever, even if it's the descendants, happily pass on this video. Yeah. What would you say to the owners or the descendants of the owners of Megabytes?
Just thanks for being so accommodating and let us play out our childhood, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, that is fantastic. All right, so yeah, where this is the High Street. So between the Pantiles, which is the historical end, this Tunbridge Wells is a spa town, and the top end, which is where the shopping centre is. We've got to go up that way anyway to pick up the car. So I'll do a little outro for you there, and probably an end to the story from there as well. We're back up at the top end of town, and behind me is the main frontage to the Royal Victoria Place, which is the shopping centre that got built in the 80s. My brother actually helped build this, funnily enough. He was on the building team. And inside there, we can't film inside, but inside there is where Game opened. And of course I've told the story before, but essentially it's Game that killed off the independent computer shops that we all loved. And we've only shown you a handful, because especially in the PC era, the area here called Camden Road, which is over the other side of this, had about 4 independent PC shops that you could pop in and get your components and all of that kind of stuff. So it's been a really good trip down memory lane. This is the place that essentially was the death knell. Funnily enough, all those other areas of town are now thriving. This is struggling a little bit currently at the time of filming this, but it is getting better. And ironically, of course, Game is pretty much, you know, it's all come full circle really. Independents are growing in terms of retro shops, and the franchises are the ones that are struggling. Lee, any last words, or just a quick goodbye?
No, just, yeah, goodbye. Nice talking to you all for probably the last and first time. Yeah, enjoy Chris's channel, good content. See you soon.
Bye.